Hello, and welcome to the Inside Scoop with AARP Indiana. My name is Emily Gorman. I'm the Director of Community Engagement, and I'm joined by Addison Pollock, who is also the Director of Community Engagement. And we're both excited to be here today for another episode of the Inside Scoop. Addison, how are you?
I'm super excited to be talking to you. I'm excited. We're going to talk to our volunteers in a moment about AARP Tax-Aide, which is really cool. The AARP Foundation's Tax-Aide program. A little different from the programs that we work on, but
it's something we don't get to talk about a lot. So I'm excited to bring that to everybody today. We are excited to be back in our in-person studio again. It's been really fun to record these in person with all of our little Indiana trinkets from across the state. We have Larry Bird, the Cardinal, here. And just as a reminder, in case you forgot, the Inside Scoop is our monthly show that is bringing you all of the information that you need to know from across the state on issues that we're working on a federal level or on a local level in your communities. We want to make sure that we're bringing you all of that information so that you know that your membership is more than just your membership. There are many things that we're working on. Tax-Aide and taxes is just one of them. And so every month we're hoping that we can highlight something different for you. When can folks find us?
Folks can find us same place, same time, every fourth Wednesday of the month on YouTube and Facebook. And you just come here, just a reminder that AARP is your wise friend and fierce defender. And this is that with just that local lens on it, that local Hoosier lens. So really excited to just present everything that we have that we're working on to you over the course of this show. So with that, let's talk about what we're talking about today.
Let's talk about what we're talking about, which is Tax-Aide.
Yes.
So it's our program that is through the AARP Foundation that I think lots of people do know it exists, but we wanted to talk about it a little bit more in depth today because it's a really special program. It started in 1968. And over that span of years, we have helped over 82 million taxpayers, which is a huge number if you really think about it, which just goes to show that this service is so important and definitely in demand in communities across the country.
That's right. And what makes Tax-Aide so special, which we'll talk more about, is you can get help with your taxes for free from IRS certified volunteers. You don't need to be an AARP member to take advantage of the service. It is the largest free tax assistance program in the nation. So this is big potatoes that we're talking about today. And I'm looking forward to getting into the conversation.
Same. And just one last thing, wanted to highlight that if you're interested in seeing if you could get help with our Tax-Aide volunteers in your community near you, we have a really cool tool on our website that you can use called the Tax-Aide Locator tool, which is basically a big map, and it will show you, if you type your zip code in, it will show you Indiana, and then you can zoom in and see where the closest location is to where you live, so that you can go and check and see if they have availability and space to help you with your taxes. Again, it's free. It's all entirely volunteer run, which is so cool and so special.
It's incredible.
And so we just wanted to bring you a little bit more information about that as it's tax season. This is very timely, and tis the season. So
let's talk to our volunteers and let's get into the Inside Scoop. All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. We are now joined by three of our volunteers of the AARP Indiana team, all the way from Gary to Lafayette, all the way down to Evansville. So we're spanning the entire state, north to south. We are talking to two volunteers, Wanda Green and Bonnie Reeves, who are Tax-Aide volunteers who assist clients with their tax needs. And then we have one volunteer, Mr. Bill Glick, who is a Tax-Aide patron. Him and his wife use Tax-Aide. So good to see you all. Thank you all for being here today.
Yeah, really glad you all
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
The first question we wanted to ask, Wanda, we'll start with you, is just if you could tell us how long you've been a Tax-Aide volunteer, and just tell us a little bit more about your experience helping folks with their taxes.
Okay, thank you. My name is Wanda Green, and I am in Gary, Indiana. And I retired in 2018. I was watching television one afternoon, and a commercial came on about volunteering for AARP. So I made the phone call that I was interested in volunteering. I received a phone call back asking me would I be interested in volunteering with Tax-Aide for AARP. And that's how my journey began in 2018. I'm a client facilitator, intake volunteer since 2018.
So what does that mean to be a client facilitator, intake volunteer? So what's your role look like?
So when clients come in asking to have their taxes done, initially you have to make an appointment. So everyone that comes in on a particular day, which Thursday is the day that we take clients, then they're on a list, and I would check them off, and I would ensure that they have all the information that's needed to have their taxes prepared. So okay. That means their W-2s, 1099s, whatever information they need. And I make, and also, first of all, they have to be ID. So they would need to have some type of ID with them, or driver's license, or social security card. But I check off and I go through all of their paperwork to ensure that everything is there before I give it to the tax preparer. So I ask them questions, and also there is a form, couple of forms, several forms that have to be completed. And I ensure that those are accurate. I go through them. I assist them if needed in completing the forms to make sure they're accurate before I give it to the tax preparer.
Perfect.
Amazing. That sounds very thorough.
Yeah, Wanda, you're an intake volunteer. So Bonnie, I want to pivot down to you. What is your volunteer role, and how long have you served in that role?
Okay, I am a Tax-Aide counselor. So I'm the one that's actually doing the preparing of the taxes.
Amazing.
I've been with Tax-Aide for 4 years now.
Wow. Okay. So that's some good experience. What training has been involved with that? I'm sure you received some initial training. Is there ongoing training as part of your volunteer role?
Yeah, here in Evansville, I have to say we have a very excellent program. Bill Van Horn, who prepares an excellent training program for us, and he's just an excellent cheerleader for us. He's what we call our energized bunny. He just keeps right on going. So, he's really, but all our volunteers, tax counselors, such as myself, go through a minimum of 80 hours of training every year.
Wow.
Okay. 30 hours of that is normally an in-person class type situation. And then the rest of it is being self-study. And in that, we're preparing numerous practice returns and to familiarize ourselves not only with the software, but also with different real life situations, so that when we encounter them, we're not hit blindsided. But each of us every year have to pass the IRS certification exams in ethics, standard of conduct, and tax laws.
Oh wow!
Wow. Okay.
That's intense, but also incredibly thorough. And 80 hours of training is every single year. You guys are high quality, which is really exciting to hear. So we're going to pivot to you, Bill. You are a Tax-Aide user. So you have used the service for a number of years, as far as I understand. And I wondered if you could share a little bit about your experience and why you chose to use AARP's Tax-Aide.
Thank you, Emily and Addison. I appreciate the opportunity. And thanks to Wanda and Bonnie for all the amazing work that the Tax-Aide volunteers do. I'm a volunteer myself, but not through Tax-Aide, another part of AARP where we provide volunteer services throughout the state. I was formerly, in my retirement job, was as executive director of Tippecanoe County Council on Aging. And as part of that, we've always supported Tax-Aide within the senior center and gave Tax-Aide folks the space that they needed, the computer time that they needed, and also the senior center staff serves as the initial reception and does all the scheduling. Does not do what Wanda does, which is the initial review. But when I was executive director of the Council on Aging, I didn't use Tax-Aide because it was so busy. I have to say that the Lafayette area is 100% filled every year. In fact, they're oversubscribed, and they are working several days a week, not just one day a week. And even though there are typically 4 or 5 preparers there, the Lafayette area is always oversubscribed. It's a wonderful service. My wife and I have used it now for at least the last 5 years, I believe. We find that the AARP Foundation prepares their folks, as Wanda and Bonnie said, just not just to the equivalent of the commercial preparers. Folks think commercial preparers have degrees. They don't necessarily. They provide a similar kind of training. But I know, as Bonnie was saying, 80 hours exceeds the minimum required by the IRS, and all those folks are wonderful preparers. And in addition to the tax counselor who works with you, after the tax counselor is finished, something that doesn't happen in many of the commercial preparer offices, is that someone else reviews everything that was done. Mm-hmm. So if, for example, there was, if the very, very minor possibility that Bonnie made a little slip up or mistake somewhere, there is someone.
Would never happen.
Exactly.
There's someone with equivalent or more experience who goes over every part of the return. And that's just a wonderful also service that's provided that is, I think, exceeds what you typically get if you were filing through a commercial preparer, and certainly filing through yourself. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you can see this, but I also think it's great. I'm going to put my finger over that. But if you can see that, we all get these little takeaways. And so through the AARP Tax-Aide folks in the foundation, my wife and I can store our tax returns year after year after year. We know where they are, and all of those are compiled, and we can keep them in one place. It's all around a wonderful service. And I just want to also thank the folks here for, especially in Lafayette. I was surprised because I interviewed several of them to see just how long they've been doing this. And many of them have been doing the Tax-Aide volunteer preparation for over a decade.
Oh, wow.
That is really a wonderful service that's provided. I can't say enough about it. They're always accurate. We know that. And we know that, for example, this year there were a lot of changes, and the tax counselors were just so well prepared to help walk us through all of the changes with the new senior deductions and the increase in the standard deduction. Everything was done so well. I can't, as a client, I just can't say enough about it.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful, Bill. Thanks so much for those compliments, and we'll definitely pass them along to the foundation folks. I did want to go back to Wanda and then Bonnie. I'm going to follow up with you with the same question. Why do you think, Bill gave a lot of compliments about why Tax-Aide is great. Why do you think it's so special and so impactful?
Are you asking me first?
Yeah, Wanda, let's start with you.
Okay. I think AARP really hit a home run with being a Tax-Aide, having this service for anyone. And it's just not seniors, it's all ages. So everyone needs to, just about everyone is going to have to file taxes. Mm-hmm. And AARP having this done and free of charge, you just couldn't ask for anything better than this. And everyone, instead of being most people nowadays, cannot afford the fees that are being charged to have your taxes done. So therefore, I absolutely think this is the best. And also, people have come in that are disabled. A lady comes every year that has an autistic child. She has several children with her. So while she's having her taxes done, I'm assisting with the children, trying to help her get, So, I mean, it's so rewarding for me because, and people come in that are disabled. And so to be able to help them and assist them filling out the forms or, it's so rewarding. So yes, AARP did hit a home run having this, as well as other things that they do. But this is like, they hit it off the ballpark having this service.
Thanks for sharing that, Wanda. That's so special. Bonnie, do you have anything to add? Do you want to say ditto? No. What do you think?
Tax preparation is expensive. We got clients that come in and say, we hear anything from $50 to over $500 just to prepare their taxes.
Right.
Most of these people do not have that kind of money. So it's a big savings for these people. I also believe we take our time to get to know these people. When we're sitting there going through their taxes and all, we try to talk to them and get to know them a little bit to find out what their needs are and, how we can help them. And besides just doing the taxes, is when we're going through and we're looking at their property taxes, we ask them, if we see that their property taxes are looking a little high, we say, hey, are you taking advantage of the tax credit for the 65 and older on your property tax? And if they aren't, I give them the paperwork and all to take them and get that tax break. Also in Evansville, we're really lucky because we have a grant that gives us $30 a month off on our water bill for people in Evansville proper. Wow. So, I'll ask them if they're getting that. If they're not, I tell them how to get it. So these people are, they are really appreciative of it and all. So, it's just a matter of taking time to get to know the people and talking to them a little bit. I've even handed out paperwork on where they can go to a food bank, and different things like that, because we see that they need it. I've got the information, I give it to them. So, and they're really appreciative of it, and they know who we are when they see us out.
I love that sense of community and that one-stop shop sort of element that's there.
Right.
Well, and I love when you said that you're catching, if they aren't maybe they aren't signed up for some credits that they could be saving some money on. Your eyes are keyed into things like that, which is just so huge and makes such a big difference, I'm sure, for so many. Paying your taxes is expensive enough. Filing should not be as expensive as well. So this is such an important service.
Evansville itself we have 10 different locations that we're running, and we're running some weeks 6 days a week and multiple locations on certain days. So we're quite busy.
In demand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And booked from the first week.
And it sounds like that's the same across the whole state.
It is.
Yeah. Right. It is.
And then, so Bill, I just want to throw it back to you quickly in your experience as a consumer of this program. I wondered if you could share something that you wish more people knew about Tax-Aide. Before you knew about it, what do you wish people knew?
Well, as I said, in the Lafayette area, it's always oversubscribed. I'm not sure we in this area need to broadcast it more, but I think one thing that Wanda touched on and Bonnie also touched on was that this is a free service, and that is something that I think needs to be broadcast more. Again, that would definitely bring more people out from the community. But the other thing is, for your $15 a year AARP membership fee, including your spouse, this is quite a bargain. It's quite a bargain. I think the other thing that could be emphasized, as Bonnie has already said, is the extensive training. That one approaching getting your taxes done by the AARP folks is not going to be a slapdash kind of preparation. This is going to be a very, very thorough preparation.
High quality.
Very, very. Bonnie, 4 years doing this. She knows those tax laws inside and out. She knows what the changes are. It's not going to be. It's not going to be off the cuff. It's going to be a very, very thorough preparation. And as Bonnie also said, questioning whether folks know about other incentives that might be available in the local community or throughout the state. That's an additional wonderful thing that you probably won't get if you're going to a commercial preparer.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm so impressed with this conversation and the professionalism of a volunteer corps that helps folks with their taxes across the state.
You guys don't get paid to do this.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Bill, thank you for taking advantage of the service, you and your family. It's fantastic. So with that, I think we're just going to jump back and kind of appreciate the conversation. I think we're just going to go back to concluding. So yeah, just wrap this up.
Thank you all for joining us. All right. Well, that was an incredible conversation with some really special volunteers.
Awesome.
I'm so glad they were able to join us and clearly so passionate about Tax-Aide and the program. So I hope that everybody learned a little something today. And if you're interested in finding more about Tax-Aide, we're going to give you some websites and phone numbers in just a second. But first, I just wanted to remind everybody, as we do at the end of every show, if you're interested in becoming more involved with AARP and staying up to date on everything we're doing advocacy-wise, or just any of the issues that we're working on, you can scan the QR code that you'll see on your screen in a second to become an activist with AARP, which basically just keeps you in the loop on everything we're working on, and we'll send you alerts if we need you to take action on something. You can also sign up to receive our text alerts. There's a number on the screen that you can text and say, join us, and then you'll be updated via text on anything we're working on. And lastly, you can sign up to get emails from AARP just about our events and other things that we have going on in the community. If you want to stay in the loop, there's a second QR code on the screen that you can scan that will keep you up to date with everything we have going on.
For sure.
Addison, Tax-Aide things we need to know.
Yeah, I want you all to remember, based on our conversation, Tax-Aide is in hundreds of communities, thousands of communities across the nation. So we have a locator tool, which you can find at the web address that we're going to float here on the bottom of the screen. So you can check out, enter your address, your city, your town, just to find the closest Tax-Aide site. We also have our the general Tax-Aide website that you can access if you just want to read up on the program. They also have an email address, Tax-Aide, aid with an E, at aarp.org, and then a toll-free number, 1-888-227-7669, if you're interested in finding out more over the phone. But with that, I think that was an awesome conversation and very timely, because tax season is among us.
Yeah.
With that,
'tis the season. And so we'll say goodbye for this week. And our next episode will be on April 22nd, which is in the middle of our fraud month.
Ooh,
so we'll have an exciting topic for you in April.
Yeah.
But thank you all for joining us. See you next time.
Later, alligators.